Okay, today we are discussing this the output equation and the first design equation of different types of the transformer. We are discussing single phase core type, single phase shell type, three phase core type and the three phase shell type. Now we have gone through all these four in the last lecture, and we did a little bit revision of what was a transformer and what was, and I hope you have done a little bit reading from your Chapman and have a know-how about transformer. Today we are basically talking about the first design equation, and when I'm using the word first design equation, the first design equation which is important is this, that this is equal to 4.44 F flux and N. जी, कोई मुझे बता सकता है कि how this equation is proven or how this equation is there? Anyone? B over? Again please, just little B over? F? V over F, sorry. You are asking, this is V by F, this should be constant. Yes, that should be constant, yes, certainly. For an electromechanical device, if it's a transformer or even an induction machine, this should be constant. Before I go on this one, why this should be constant? So, batayega mujhe. Same question. For any electromechanical device, by electromechanical I mean a device which has flux, and by the usage of that flux, that device is running. This means that it's going to hold this true, V over F. And if this V over F is not constant, supposedly it is not constant, it is on the decreasing side, what negative effect or what positive effect it will have on the machine? Generally speaking, I am not just taking transformer in consideration, I am talking about the induction machine also over here. See, ये सवाल चैप्टर नंबर 7 चैपमैन इंडक्शन मोटर V over F वहाँ पे भी किया जाता है. शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो. जी देखो, listen this very carefully. What is voltage? Voltage is actually the standard voltage at which that motor or that transformer is going to work. Now when I'm talking using the word V, which means that that device winding is rated for that insulation level. So if I'm talking about something 300 volt or 400 volt machine, the winding is rated for that voltage. If I'm going to give less than that voltage, certainly it will be no disadvantage. The machine will have no problem. But the working of that machine will be reduced. Why? Because less voltage means that you are going to get less current inside the machine, less flux in the machine. Less flux means less torque if I'm talking about machine, or if I'm talking about transformer, then this means certainly less flux in the core. And if the voltage reduces down to a very low level, then the flux in the core is also going to be very much reduced. So the rate of change of that. But when we introduce frequency into it, what does frequency do? Frequency is actually the change of flux by how the flux is changing in each cycle. That is actually the time period over there. So if the frequency is changed, the first and foremost thing that is actually going to change in a transformer is actually Jx. Because what is Jx equal to? Jx is equal to 2 pi Fl. J over here. So frequency is changing, your reactance is changing. And if you remember, if I just make the same transformer diagram, if I am talking about the transformer, so this is that core, and this is that ideal transformer over here. So this element over here, Jxm, this is R0, this value, when you are going to have less frequency, this value is going to decrease. So what will happen? You will have more I0 current flowing over there. More I0 current means more losses. Okay? And if you are doing this thing, this means you are increasing the frequency, then the voltage which is applied over here, that has to be also, so that you can have a proportional increase. So if you are increasing the frequency, you have to increase the voltage also. Then in that case you are actually, but in a transformer, if a transformer is rated for 220 volt, you cannot apply more than that. And if a machine supposedly is rated for 300 volt or 380 volts or something, you cannot apply more than that. I am talking about line to line voltage. If it is line to neutral, then it is 230 volts. So the V over F ratio is a very important characteristic. If I am talking about induction machine, then this parameter has to remain constant if you want to run that machine effectively. So if you are decreasing the frequency, this means you are decreasing your JXF. So your voltage also has to decrease, because the induction motor equivalent circuit is also something like this. I hope you remember that. The induction equivalent circuit is just a short circuited like this over here. The rotor is short circuited, and this winding over here, it is variable. That is actually the voltage induced inside the rotor is variable. Why variable? Because the speed, relative speed with respect to the synchronous speed, that is actually going to have a variable effect on the amount of voltage induced over there. So this V over F ratio, if you are decreasing your F, you have to decrease your V also. So V by F has to be kept constant. Now if you want to increase the frequency, now you can't increase the voltage, because if you are already at the rated value of that winding voltage, you cannot do it. The insulation is going to get damaged. Now what is insulation? This is a very important thing. I am going to clear this one in the very start of the course. If you see this transformer at present, this paper material that is used over there, this is the insulation for the outside winding. Now this is a shell type transformer in front of me, as you can see, because the winding is done on the central limb over there, and certainly the first winding which is done on the central limb has to be the low voltage winding. I am not using the word primary and secondary here. The low voltage winding is kept first because it is low voltage. So when it is going to have a voltage difference with the core, then you don't need that much insulation. That is the distance between from that winding to the core, which is electrically at neutral or grounded, is not going to be required. First, because in this low voltage winding here in this transformer, I don't know, these are many taps, maybe it is 12 volts. So 12 volt does not require that much insulation. But when that 12 volt turns are done, certainly there are going to be less number of turns. Then afterwards, a paper insulation again is done, and then on that insulated, you are going to do the high voltage winding. Now everything remains very simple if the voltage is something near about 400 or 500 volts. But when you go towards something 1 kilovolt or maybe like 5 kilovolts or 11 kilovolts, then this paper insulation is going to be a very, very big factor. You are going to add approximately 5 mm of insulation for 11 kV. Because 11 kV is a big voltage. Supposedly, if my book is placed over there and there is an 11 kV line going over here, there is certainly going to be a magnetic field near me. I cannot go near to that. It has effect over there. So 11 kV requires a lot amount of insulation, and it is certainly always the outside winding if the windings are done on the same limb. Limb means the winding on which the shell type transformer, so the central limb is actually the winding limb on which the low voltage winding and the high voltage windings are going to be done. So in this transformer you cannot apply more than 220 volt. The 220 volt windings are these ones over there. And one thing very important, because I know everyone has seen a transformer before up till now, but don't know what is happening. Now if you see this wire over here, this paper insulation over here, this is that insulation. It may be plastic or some other material. It is placed on this one. Now if you see the wire over here, this wire has a little bit of insulation also on it. It is enameled wire, okay? And you have to remove that enameled insulation, and then this wire, this is a little bit soldering down on it so it can be made conductive. So this is that copper. So it is not bare copper done in the winding, it is insulated copper that is enameled over there, and then you are doing the winding. So there was a very blunt question asked, you can take it as a joke or something, which is सारी की सारी winding एक के ऊपर है तो ये तो short circuit हो जाती है. But the individual copper, they are insulated from each other, just like this wire over here. So it is insulated over here, and certainly for this one also, as you can see over here. So this is that low voltage. Now कोई मुझे बताएगा यहाँ पे कि ये low voltage winding है या ये low voltage winding है? देख के बता सकते हो आप इससे? Just by seeing this transformer, there are two winding turns coming on. Certainly there are some taps coming on over there. Which one is the low voltage? Right side, left side. My right side or left side? My right side. Why? क्या है? नहीं, इससे कैसे पता चलेगा? मैं इनको भी इधर से निकाल देता, इनको भी इधर से निकाल देता, हैं? नहीं, देखने से नहीं, ऐसे नहीं. देखो, when it's a low voltage winding, it's going to have larger current rating. When larger current rating is required, it will be thick. This is a low voltage winding. And if you are seeing this one side, you can see this wire is very small. The cross-sectional area I am talking about is very small. So when the cross-sectional area is very small, I hope you can also see this one. So this one is thick. So this is certainly low voltage winding. It has a high current rating. And when you are seeing this one, you can see this is very thin wire. Maybe just like 22 or 23 gauge. Okay. And this one approximately like 16 or 17 or 18 gauge, something like that. This is standard wire gauge, not AWG. So this is the low voltage winding, this is the high voltage winding. So just by the size of your, yes, certainly if it's a 1-to-1 ratio transformer, then you can't decide on that one. But if you have a transformer which is certainly some stepping up or stepping down, then you can decide based on just the wire cross-sectional area that what is the low voltage winding and what one is the high voltage winding. अच्छा जी, coming on to what we are doing just now here, जी कोई बताएगा ये फार्मूला कहाँ से है जिससे हमने बात शुरू की थी? Faraday's law, if I write it here in front of you, the EMF is equal to number of turns and then there have d phi by dt. कैसे? जी, anyone? E is equal to 4.44. E or V, same thing, nothing changed. E is the induced EMF or the voltage, same thing. So what this formula is actually, अभी मैं proof पे आता हूँ बाद में. What this formula is telling you that the applied voltage on any of the winding is actually equal to 4.44, again a constant, frequency, flux, number of turns. Now the frequency is fixed at which you are working. The flux value can be determined on your selection, that what value of flux you want. But again, this is not just your prerogative, it is also the design value also. So when you know all these values, you can find out the number of turns. एक बड़ा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है मशीन में हम करते हैं इन द ट्रांसफार्मर चैप्टर कि जी हमारे पास आई वांट टू मेक अ 1 to 2 रेशियो ट्रांसफार्मर, आई वांट टू स्टेप इट अप टू डबल. सो क्या आई कैन मेक अ ट्रांसफार्मर विद 100 टर्न्स हियर एंड 200 टर्न्स देयर? Will that be a transformer? Yes, it will be a transformer, but you cannot decide the number of turns unless and until you have gone through this formula. This formula, from here this N gives you the minimum number of turns that are required on any other side. Supposedly on the one side which was 100 volts, you wanted to convert it to 200 volts, so you will plug it 100 volts over here. 4.44 is a constant, frequency F is 50 Hertz. Flux phi certainly based on some table, I will get on them afterwards. You can find out N. That N value you are going to get is actually going to be the minimum number of turns. You can get more than that, no issues. तो अगर supposedly इस formula से N आता है आपके पास 100 turns, आप 100 की जगह 105 रख लो, no problem. But on the secondary side, because you want to double it, so you are going to keep it 210 turns. But 210 is hypothetically ideal value. You will keep it a little higher because you know there is a losses happening. Your winding is not very good. You have some copper losses and other effect over there. So a little bit higher voltage, maybe 210, 220, 230, something like that. So it can sustain that voltage even if there are some losses over there. Okay. Now how this formula comes? We know the flux inside a core, it is sinusoidal. Now why it is sinusoidal, this is very important. Practically it is never sinusoidal. Why? Because we know the BH curve for any other thing, it is saturating after some time. So I am assuming that this proof that I am doing at present, it is not going in the saturation region, I am only in the linear region of my device or the material. Now when I am in the linear region, it will be certainly a sinusoidal wave, no issues on this one. This is the flux phi, and certainly from here to here this is that total time period T for the frequency which you are applying over there. Now from this zero value, the time it takes to reach this flux maximum, ठीक है जी? From zero to the maximum value of flux, it takes some time, and that is certainly this time is going to be equal to T by 4. ठीक है जी? Now since what is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction? That is N d phi by dt. Can you give me the value of d phi by dt here? What is the change in flux? That is phi m over there. How much time it has occurred? The time occurred is T cross 4. So when you are going to have this one, convert this T into frequency. So what happens? This is phi m over 1 over 4f, because t is equal to 1 over f, time period and frequency. So this is n d phi by dt equal to phi m divided by 1 over 4f, or you can write it as phi m 4f over here. So d phi by dt is equal to phi m, the maximum value of flux, into 4f over there. Now, what you are doing over here, listen to this very carefully, you are taking the flux value going from 0 to maximum value of phi m. Now, this change was not linear, it's a sine wave. So what we are assuming it, that this rate of change of flux is the average value. This is the average value. Okay? I am not saying maybe in the very start it is very high, then afterwards the slope is decreasing because it's a sine wave. So this means that this d phi by dt is the average rate of change of flux, d phi by dt. Now, when I multiply this by n, since certainly n number of turns are there, whatever rate of change of flux we are happening, and this is average, so this is n phi m into 4f. Now this is an average value of E average over here. Now for a sine wave, if you want to convert an average value into its RMS value, there is a factor. क्या होता है वो factor? जी, anyone? याद है कुछ? Form factor. You have done this one in your power electronics. If you have gone through M.H. Rashid also, this is very much used over there. क्या होता है form factor? Equal to? Come on. RMS value divided by average value for any quantity, current, voltage, whatever. Okay? So now here I require the RMS value of the voltage, because we are always talking about in terms of RMS value. What is the average value here? We have found out this is n into f phi m, n 4f phi m. जी, so what is form factor of a sine wave? ये तो याद होना चाहिए. Come on. ये interview questions है यार. These are interview. Please remember, for a sine wave, the form factor, that is RMS divided by average, is 1.11. This is calculated mathematically. Okay. You can go to M.H. Rashid, you can find out. So this gives you RMS value of the voltage. You multiply this 4 by 1.11. This is 4.44 f phi m into n. This is the same formula just I wrote in the very start. So you have converted, and but again this is very important, this formula is based on just one simple assumption, that your flux was a sinusoidal. We took the average rate of change of flux and then multiplied it by the form factor, and we got this E RMS is equal to 4.44 f phi m n over there. And another form of this one, just to give a little bit more depth, this is 4.44 f phi m. What is that? This is actually the flux, and we know this is equal to B into area of the pore into n. This is another form. Phi is equal to BA, magnetic flux density into area. And since this is E RMS, this is the total voltage applied. But there is another term called as E RMS divided by n. This is called as 4.44 FBAC, and we use the word or the subscript ET, that is the voltage per turn inside your transformer. Now this equation is applicable not just only for the transformer but also for the induction motor also, because this is totally, flux change is also in the induction motor, it's also inside a transformer. So this ET is very important. This is very important. In fact, from this equation we are going to get the first design equation of transformer, that is ET is equal to, we'll just write it down, K under root S or K under root Q. We'll come on that one afterwards. So ET over here, this one is the voltage per turn. Okay, so this is the first design equation which we have just done, 4.44 FBAC. Now the first thing let's talk about a single phase core type transformer. Single phase core type transformer. Now when I'm talking about a single phase core type transformer, let me draw the transformer. Again, it's a two-dimensional view, so okay, I'm going to use for the low voltage winding. Okay, now this is actually just the front view and I have cut the whole transformer from the center. Okay, so I'm not going to show the winding as one, it's not in three-dimensional, so I'm just going to show this is my low voltage winding, and similarly half part or the other end of this winding is here. This is my low voltage winding and I am going to write here low voltage over here. Agreed? Okay, I have just cutted it from the center, so you are just seeing from the side view, which means I have cut this one from here the center, so you are seeing actually this is a shell type, so it's not the same thing, but you are going to see the same thing over there. Now the other winding, and certainly I'm going to use the, since that is high voltage, so I'm using the red color for that one. Now high voltage winding is not just going to be just attached to it, there is going to be some spacing, and if it's a very high voltage then certainly there is going to be some oil duct also, so there is going to be some space over here. So this is my high voltage winding and this is my high voltage winding. This spacing over here, let me mark this spacing. This spacing over here or this spacing is for the oil duct or for the insulation paper that is going to be used between the low voltage and high voltage. Now this is one limb I have drawn. The same is going to be drawn on the other limb, because what we have done over here, instead of having the low voltage winding on one limb and high voltage winding on the other, we have bifurcated them on two different limbs. So which means half number of turns are here, half number of turns are there. So what I am going to do, what will happen, this will have more better flux linkage. Instead of having low voltage on this side and high voltage on this side, what I am doing, I am having half of them here low voltage, high voltage, half of them low voltage, high voltage. This will have better flux linkage, or you can say we are having actually an advantage of the shell type transformer that was having better flux linkage over there. So I have to now make this one, and this is my low voltage and this is my high voltage. Okay, now this area, is called as the window area. Okay. This area between the two limbs of the transformer where actually the winding is done, and this is called as AW, area, because they are talking about in terms of area, a two-dimensional thing, not a three-dimensional. Otherwise, if it was a three-dimensional, then I would use the word volume. But otherwise, this is area. So this is AW over here. Now, before I go on towards the main proof, some important things over there. When I'm talking or using the word, changing the color actually is a little difficult task here every time. When I'm using the word low voltage, so I am going to use the subscript V1, okay, and the current flowing inside that winding is certainly going to be I1, and corresponding to that I1, I am going to select delta 1. And what is delta 1? This is the current density in low voltage conductor. But what I mean by that, how much amperes per mm square is going to be the current density in your conductor. क्या आपने देखना ये है कि आपके पास जो आपने ट्रांसफार्मर डिजाइन कर रहे हो, you want in this conductor 5 amperes per mm square, 6 ampere, 3 ampere. Now this is again decided by what type of cooling you are having. If your cooling is air cooled, you can't go more than like 2 or 2.5 amperes per mm square. But if it is something oil cooling, then you can go up to like maybe like 4 or 5. and if you have something forced cooling in which there is a pump that is pushing the oil inside the windings or in the spacing between the windings, so this means it can be cooled down effectively more. So you can have more current flowing through that one. In that case, it is approximately 6 plus even. Okay? So the current density, that is delta 1 over here, and based on this delta 1, you can find out small a1, which will be equal to I1 divided by delta 1. So what is a1? A1 is the cross-sectional area of low voltage. I will not be using the full form every time writing down. So LV means low voltage and COND means conductor. So have that habit. And similarly, just like we have done it for the low voltage winding, for the same high voltage winding, I am going to use V2, I2, and there will be the delta 2, that is actually the current density. Normally delta 1 and delta 2, they are kept same. हम नहीं चाहते कि एक वाइंडिंग के अंदर ज़्यादा हीट अप हो, एक वाइंडिंग में कम हीट अप हो. लेकिन the reason, since the low voltage winding is inside, so it can have a little bit low current density. But with the winding which is outside, it can be cooled down much effectively. So a little bit higher value can be done. But effectively, normally we keep it same for small transformers overall. So this is the current density of the high voltage conductor, and based on this one you have A2, which is equal to certainly I2 divided by delta 2. This is the cross-sectional area of the high voltage conductor. And certainly again, not to mention over here that N1 is the number of turns for low voltage winding, and N2 is the number of turns for high voltage winding. Now these are some variables which you are defined, and they will remain throughout the whole transformer design. So they should be actually very familiar with you. Now when you have done this, when you have all these variables over here, A1, A2, delta 1, delta 2 over here, there is a term S. What is S? Power triangle की बात कर रहा हूँ. Apparent power, the total power handling capacity, VA term of this transformer. Now this is a single phase transformer, so this is going to be V cross I. It can be V1 or I1, or it can be V2, I2, it's totally up to you. I am writing it in terms of V1, I1. And since I require this one in kVA, so I am multiplying it by 10 raised to power minus 3. Because normally, whenever a transformer is being designed, the main basic unit being used is actually kVA. हम MVA बहुत कम use करते हैं because MVA is actually more in the power transformer regime. kVA is morely used in the distribution transformer, so I have V1 into I1, this is I1 here into kVA. Now instead of this V1, can I write over here 4.44 F into flux into N into I1 into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. Okay? And here I am using N1 over here because I have I1 over there. So that's why I am using N1 over there. Now in this formula I have this sector N1 I1. जब भी आपने कभी ट्रांसफार्मर डिजाइन करना है, you will be given, okay, this is the kVA rating of that transformer, which means you need S. You have already S. 4.44 is a constant. F is already known. Flux phi N, you are not knowing that. You don't know that value. I1, yes, that can be found out because you know the kVA rating or the VA rating of that transformer. But I am going to replace this N1 and I1 with a factor that is going to be called as window space factor. This is a very important factor. I am just going to write down the definition. Window space factor, this is KW, and this is equal to the actual copper area in window divided by the window area. Now whenever you are designing a transformer, window space factor is always a chart given to you. कि जी अगर आपने 11 kV का ट्रांसफार्मर डिजाइन करना है तो kW की वैल्यू, आई विल गिव यू दैट चार्ट लेटर ऑन, दैट kW वैल्यू इज समथिंगली 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. जितना ज्यादा किलो वोल्ट होंगे यू आर गोइंग टू गेट लेस विंडो स्पेस फैक्टर kW. रीजन, यू रिक्वायर मोर इंसुलेशन. अगर आपके पास एक सिंपल ट्रांसफार्मर है 200 or 220 volt / 12 volt, something like this, then kW factor can be 0.9, something like that, no issue. Because here what is kW? Actual copper area, how much copper area is inside this shaded blue color region, divided by the total area that is available over here. Now this total area, this will come actually a little later stage afterwards, but I am just giving you this one height or this one. They have some variables. This is called as HW, height of the window. This is called as LW. लेकिन मैं खैर अभी इनको इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रहा क्योंकि अभी हमने टैंक डिजाइन की तरफ नहीं गए. जब we will discuss tank design, then we will discuss these two attributes in detail. So I have HW and LW, which are actually making the area over here. Now, for this single phase co-type transformer, can you tell me what this kW will be equal to? जी एक्चुअल कॉपर एरिया कितना है इसके अंदर? इफ आई गो बैक ऑन दिस डायग्राम, हाउ मच कॉपर एरिया? आई नो द क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया ऑफ ईच कंडक्टर. इसमें कंडक्टर कैसे लगा हुआ है? नाउ सी दिस वेरी केयरफुली. आई हैव दिस रेड कलर, सो दिस इज 1 कंडक्टर, 2 कंडक्टर, 3 कंडक्टर, 1 2 3. सो दे आर मेनी कंडक्टर्स ओवर हियर लाइक दिस which are completing the low voltage winding over here. हर कंडक्टर का एरिया कितना है? लो वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग है A1, ठीक है. इसी तरह से सेम लो वोल्ट, सॉरी दिस इज द हाई वोल्टेज, सॉरी दिस इज द हाई वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग. Similarly, the high voltage winding will be having something conductor over here. So this area is A2. How many number of turns are there inside this total window? That is N2. ऐसा ही है ना? हाफ इधर है, हाफ इधर है, लेकिन they are covering the whole window area. So when I am interested in the actual copper area, I can write it as use the other color. So this is N1 A1 plus N2 A2. Agreed on this? ठीक है. कॉपर एरिया कितनी नंबर ऑफ टर्न्स है? N1. क्या है? एक टर्न का एरिया क्या है? कॉपर एरिया. उसके ऊपर हो सकता है एनिमल चढ़ा हुआ, पेपर इंसुलेशन भी चढ़ी हो. वी आर नॉट कंसर्न्ड विद दैट. So this is N1 A1 plus N2 A2 and dividing it by the window area AW. AW factor अभी कहाँ से आता है वो बाद में देखते हैं. Now instead of A1, can I write it as N1 into I1 divided by delta 1, and instead of A2 I can write I2 divided by delta 2. Again in the denominator I have AW. And now I can write it as, now since I just told you that delta 1 and delta 2, they both are going to be almost same unless and until you have something very different transformer. So this one N1 I1 plus N2 I2 divided by delta AW. ठीक है. I've taken the delta, that is the current density over there, and this is kW. Now if this is an ideal transformer, because all the equations which we are actually using here, we know inside any transformer N1 I1 is equal to N2 I2. ठीक है. You are having the same number of ampere turns on the primary side, same number of ampere turns on the secondary side. So this means I can now write this kW factor equal to 2 times N1 I1 divided by delta AW. And from this equation I can have N1 I1 equal to kW delta A window divided by 2. Now why I am doing this? Because number of turns N1 I1, this can be replaced very easily in this equation here. So now my final equation that becomes on, this is going to be equal to, that is S equal to, let's see it over there. So this is going to be 4.44 F flux into delta KW AW divided by 2 into 10 raised to power minus 3. And if I simplify this, this is 2.22 F. Now instead of flux, I can write BM, that is the flux density, and area of the core AC, and here I have delta KW AW into 10 raised to power minus 2. This is the design equation of a single phase core type transformer. You know S, you know your frequency. BM is totally your design value कि आपने कौन सा material use किया जो किस हद तक linear है. Maybe it is linear up till 1.7 Tesla, maybe it is linear up till 1.5 Tesla, and then area of the core that you require. Delta is again your selection based on what type of cooling you have. KW is going to come from your table, you will deduce later on. AW is again depending upon your tank design and all that, वो भी एक table है. So you can easily find out from here what is the area of the core that you require. For that much current density, for that much load, how much area. और ये कौन सा area है? मिसाल के तौर पर if I am talking about a shell type transformer, जो central limb है इस ट्रांसफॉर्मर के अंदर, उसका क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया which I am seeing from the top. जो आउटर लिम्ब है इसकी, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, इसका जो सेंटर एरिया है, it will be double than what you are seeing over here on this side or this side. Why double? Because half of the flux goes here, half of the flux goes here. So to keep the flux density same in the outer legs over there, the area of the central limb in this shell type is double as compared to the outer two limbs over there. Okay. Do any questions with this? 2.22 F BM AC delta KW AW into 10 raised to power minus 3. Certainly this is kVA. Do any questions with this? Acha, doing this one same for a single phase shell type. If we do this one same for a single phase shell type. Now I am not going to go in the whole detail again and again because this is actually just a repetition. I will just draw the shell type here and show the windings over there. Now what is the shell type? Single phase shell type is you can see I have made the central limb a thick one over here, and when I have this I am going to use, now here what is going to happen, now there are two ways of doing the winding. One way of doing the winding is this, that I make the winding first of all the low voltage winding and then the high voltage winding, just like the core transformer I did. Now that is going to give you a better result, but that is okay if the high voltage winding difference with respect to the low voltage winding difference is very large. Then you require the high voltage winding to be away from the central limb. But if the transformer is such a way that the low voltage and the high voltage, the difference is not that much, then what you can do over here, you can have packets of winding sandwich in between other. Like this. This is called, oh, selfie क्या हुआ? मेरे लैपटॉप में कुछ नहीं हुआ, इसके प्रोजेक्टर का कोई इशू है. एक सेकंड. ये रिमोट लॉक से ऑफ करके मैं दोबारा ऑन करूँगा, रिमोट ले। You have this low voltage and high voltage winding, and this type of winding which you are seeing at present, in which the windings are separated and they are sandwiched in between each other. This is called as a sandwich winding. ठीक है, different types of winding names आएंगे जब हम winding design actually करेंगे तो हम सब भी देखेंगे क्या है, लेकिन this type of winding is called a sandwich winding. इस ट्रांसफार्मर में ये नहीं किया गया, जिस तक आपके सामने है। इस ट्रांसफार्मर के अंदर the first the low voltage winding and then the high. This type of winding in which first you do the low voltage and then the high voltage, this is called as a concentric winding because they are centered on the same thing. But here when you are sandwiching the low voltage and high voltage, low voltage, high voltage, so this type of winding, this is called as a sandwich winding. Now for this one, as you can see the sandwich winding, one thing very important before I proceed further, if you see the low voltage winding, it is closer to the core, here is also closer to the core. Now keeping the low voltage winding closer to the core has one objective, that in this way with the core low voltage is there, so it will not have a flashover. By flashover I mean that it is not going to have a dielectric disruption over there, so it can withstand that. अगर हम कोर के करीब हाई वोल्टेज को कर देते तो पॉसिबिलिटी ये थी कि हो सकता है हाई वोल्टेज से करंट लीक करना शुरू हो जाए टुवर्ड्स द कोर विच इज एक्चुअली एट न्यूट्रल पॉइंट ओवर देयर. So now this shell type transformer, if I want to find out now kW, kW again same thing, A1 N1 A2 N2 divided by AW. Okay, same thing. Why? Because the window area this time, that window area is this one plus this one. ठीक है, so window area is this one or this one, किसी एक को ले रहे हैं. ठीक है, so इसके अंदर सारी की सारी लो वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग आ गई. अगर इसको भी लो वोल्टेज, इसको भी विंडो एरिया में शामिल करते तब हमें 2 लिखना पड़ता था. So this formula same just like the previous one, no change as such over there. And if you apply again that A1 is equal to I1 divided by delta 1 and all that facts over there, I'm not doing that one over here in front of you. So this comes out to be that kW is equal to 2I1 N1 divided by delta AW. Same thing, just like the single phase core type, nothing changed. So when you put that one in the same equation, this becomes S equal to the same equation 2.22 F AC BM delta kW AW into 10 raised to power minus 3 kV. So single phase core type and single phase shell type, they both have the same design equation, no change as well. But when we move on from a single phase device to a 3-phase core type, because core types are very important one. So when I'm talking about a 3-phase core type, a 3-phase core type means that if I draw it over here now, 3-phase core type has 3 limbs. So these are 3 limbs over there, and again the low voltage winding is going to be closer here. Similarly it will be on the second limb, and similarly it will be here on this side. This is the low voltage winding, and if I have the high voltage winding, certainly some distance, and this one would be the high voltage. So this is my high voltage winding. Now question here, what is the window area? Window area is just this half of the window area. Now this time the value of Kw will be different. Why different? Because here you are having LV number of turns for one phase which are equal to N1, and then this is the second phase, because this is the second phase on the second left. So this time when you are going to do the Kw factor, so Kw factor this time it will be equal to 2 times A1 N1 plus A2 N2 divided by window area. Agreed? It will be 2 times. So this time, after doing all those calculations, I am not going to repeat that one, you can do it yourself. So Kw is equal to, this is equal to 4 times N1 I1 divided by delta AW. Now, the original equation will also change here, because previously if you remember, this one was V1 into I1 to 10 raised to the power minus 3. When it's a 3-phase transformer, then S is equal to 3 times V phase I phase current into 10 raised to the power minus 3. So the equation that is F equal to, this is equal to 3 V1 I1 into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA, and in place of this V1 you write it as 3 into 4.44 F BM AC into N1 I1 into 10 raised to power minus 3, and you put N1 I1 from here in that equation, then this S comes out equal to be, this is 3 into 4.44, I'm just writing down the full form again, BM AC, and in place of N1 I1 I have this one as delta KW AW divided by 4 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So this 4 and 4 versus 1.11, and this equation now becomes 3.33 F BM AC delta KW AW into 10 raised to power minus 3 kV. This is again units of kV. This is your equation for the three-phase core type. Actually, one thing very important, don't confuse it, the notes which I am also having, and in this book also, instead of this X variable, they have sometimes used Q. Now, I have not used Q over here because Q, you already know, this is a reactive power. So don't confuse yourself if it is Q being written over there, Q means the same thing over here. Because in a transformer design, we are not interested in the reactive power. We are only interested in the VA rating. So that's why we use this Q also as the total apparent power, but otherwise I am using the variable S over there, the capital S over there. Now, the last one, which is actually the 3-phase shell type over here, the 3-phase shell type. Now this 3-phase shell type, as we have done it last time also, that this 3-phase shell type is a little huge one, and huge in the sense that it has 3 different windows. This is the first window for the first phase, and then I have the second window, and then I have the third window. I think my screen is a little, that's why my line actually becomes dodgy. So this is a 3-phase shell type, and here, just like the single phase core type, this is going to be the low voltage winding, the low voltage winding, the low voltage winding here, the low voltage winding here, and maybe I can have a low voltage winding here and low voltage winding here, and you can have the high voltage winding sandwiched in between over here, like this, and like this. So here the window area, which is actually the this form, these two are the window area. Combined, they are called as the window area. So now when we do the same equation, the same proof like this for this shell type transformer, and you can repeat it for the other 2 windows yourself. Here this time the kW this time will be the very same, that is A1 N1 plus A2 N2 divided by AW, and you do the all calculations of that one, and this kW becomes equal to 2N1 I1 divided by AW into delta. So now just the final form, this F becomes equal to, this is very important, this time it becomes equal to 6.66 F A C B M delta kW AW into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. One thing very important, please kVA या unit please miss मत करें. These are very very important in this design course. आपको नहीं पता चलेगा, and write them even in the calculation. आपको जी आखिर में आंसर के साथ लिख देंगे. Please don't make this habit. Otherwise आपने यूनिट में कहीं ना कहीं गलती करनी है. We are not accustomed to use millimeter square in the cross sectional area. लेकिन आपके पास जितनी भी डिजाइन वैल्यूज आएंगी वो आपने मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर में करनी है. क्यों? क्योंकि आपके पास जो टेबल होगा कंडक्टर का वो मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर में होगा. लेकिन हो सकता है आपके पास जो डिजाइन वैल्यूज आपको मैं पेपर में दे दूं उठा के या क्वेश्चन में हो वो सेंटीमीटर में. तो सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर को मिलीमीटर में कैसे करना है या सेंटीमीटर को मिलीमीटर में कैसे करना है, have this on your fingertips and have a habit of writing all the units with every term wherever it is. Otherwise आप units में गलती कर दोगे and you are going to lose a lot of marks because this is a design procedure. So here for a three-phase shell type transformer you can see this is 6.66 over there. Now if you compare these four equations, ये चलो सिंगल फेज को हम बाहर करते हैं थोड़ी देर के लिए. वी आर जस्ट कंपेयरिंग द थ्री फेज को टाइप and the three phase shell type. Three phase shell type, this factor is 6.66 and in the three phase co type this is 3.33. This is easily telling you that a shell type transformer has a little bit more capacity to handle power as compared to a core type. If you are using the same value of core, window height or whatever, window area or whatever. So normally when you are designing a distribution transformer you will refer to a core type because you need to cool it down because it has to run 24 hours a day. But wherever you want more output and you are not concerned with the heating of that core or the material used inside it, because you can cool it down with some forced cooling, oil cooling or air blast cooling, then it's very easy. Then you are going to refer towards your shell type transformer because shell type transformer is going to give you a better advantage as compared to your core type. But since it's only going to run for like 5 or 6 hours or maybe 8 hours, so you can run it for 8 to 10 hours and then afterwards you can turn it off and it can cool down. Unless and until it's something rainy season or something like that. I'm talking about something at Tarbela or Mangla. So when you are having at Tarbela and Mangla and that power plant is working 24 hours a day, normally ऐसा कभी होता नहीं है क्योंकि आमतौर पर Tarbela और Mangla they are only working for like 12 or 15 hours maximum. वो उस वक्त रखा जाता है बेस लोड. I guess अभी आप लोग पावर सिस्टम में बेस लोड की डेफिनेशन पढ़ चुके हो, अभी तक नहीं आई. So whenever you are talking about a load of a country, this is very important. Whenever you are talking about a load of a country, अगर हम उसको plot करें, on the x-axis I have my time over here, and I have the P total power that is consumed by Pakistan. Supposingly, this is approximately at 12 a.m. at night. This is at 12 p.m. at in the morning, and then certainly coming back to 12 a.m. So 12 p.m. of night, 12 p.m. morning times में आपके पास जो है ये consumption रात के टाइम बहुत कम है, 12 p.m. पे थोड़ी बढ़ जाएगी और रात फिर ये शाम में यहाँ 5 बजे या 6 बजे के करीब this will go up and then afterwards it will again go down. Now if you see this curve, you are having a peak demand somewhere at 5 or 6 p.m. But if you take out from this curve a value इतना percent load, this is called as the base load. This base load power has always to be produced. इसको हर वक्त प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. अब ये आप तरबेला डैम से या मंगला डैम से, because they are cheapest, you are going to run them there over there, or you are going to use some other industrial power plant, maybe Japan Power, Saiwal Coal Power Plant, or anything else. So, but since they are only for a very small time, then you are going to use the expensive ones only there. So base load, this blue color region, this is actually called as the base load, which is always going to be run in Pakistan because this is the minimum number of requirements you always have to run. So for those transformers which are always running, but normally ऐसा होता नहीं है, सरबेला को या मंगला के भी जनरेटर्स को थोड़ी देर के लिए रेस्ट जरूर दिया जाता है. It's not possible that it is running for 24 hours a day and something like that. So every time there is a relaxing time always there. So that base load shifts from Mangla, Sarbela to maybe Hubco, maybe Capco, maybe anything else. So that base load is always shifting over there. But all those transformers which are power transformers and they are normally working at very high voltages, their size is very high, maybe more than the size of this room, then you are having actually shell type transformers being used over there. Okay. जी, any questions with this जी? जी बेटा, any questions? Nothing? अच्छा जी, before I go on forward over here, just 2 or 3 different things over there. Normally the material of the transformer, that is the core I am talking about, the most first thing is the core. The first material which is normally used inside this transformer, this is called as the normal silicon steel. खैर ये हाल रोड से बना हुआ है, so I can't even justify कि हो सकता है ये silicon steel भी ना हो, ये आम लोहा भी हो सकता है. So when it is silicon steel, the value of the maximum flux density ranges from something 0.9 to 1.1 Tesla. And Tesla is the same unit as Weber per meter square. ठीक है, प्लीज यूनिट्स रिवाइज जरूर होने चाहिए आपके. दिस इज जी, आइए मैं मार्कर चेंज कर दूँ. सिलिकॉन स्टील 0.9 to 1.1 Tesla and the thickness of this sheet is something 0.35 mm, which is the thickness of this sheet over here. अब खैर अब हाल रोड पे आपने सस्ता सा ट्रांसफार्मर बनवाना है, आजकल तो माशाल्लाह से आप ट्रांसफार्मर वहाँ से बनवाओ अगर, तो वो सिलिकॉन स्टील तो छोड़ो, लोहे भी छोड़ो, वो बेसिकली जो आपके जो पुराने लुक के डब्बे होते हैं उनको काट काट के वो उससे ट्रांसफार्मर बना रहे हैं. इट्स नॉट इवन स्टील, इट्स नॉट इवन सिलिकॉन स्टील, तो बहुत दूर की बात है. और द वर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ इट, व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग लेमिनेशन, बिटवीन ईच लेमिनेशन यू हैव टू पुट सम सिलिकॉन रेसिन. अगर आपने वो नहीं डाला तो फायदा क्या फिर उसका, फिर तो आपने बेसिकली सॉलिड ब्लॉक भी ले लो, द सेम थिंग. तो सिलिकॉन रेसिन इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर ओवर हियर because core losses should not be that much high, otherwise the efficiency of a transformer is low. And one thing which I forgot to talk about in the last lecture also, transformer is the only device in electrical engineering which has the highest efficiency. 99.9999% efficiency has been achieved by the transformer. कोई MOSFET, कोई IGBT, कोई electronics device अभी तक इतनी efficiency achieve नहीं कर सकी है. Maybe शायद कोई आ जाए in the passage of time, GaN devices or something like can happen, but transformer is the maximum efficient device in electrical engineering till now. So the other material that can be used apart from that is called as HRGO. This is called as hot rolled grain oriented silicon steel. Hot rolled grain oriented silicon steel, and the flux density is 1.2 to 1.4 Tesla. अभी मैं HDMI केबल की एप्लीकेशन दे रहा हूँ, वही खराब हो गई. ओके, the meaning of hot rolled. What is hot rolled? Hot rolled means that when the silicon sheets were being made, you on the hot same sheet you had some silicon grains added to it, and then the next one, which is the last material, the best material up till now, this is called as cold rolled grain oriented silicon steel. Okay? And the flux density, I am not writing the full form, you can write it down yourself. Cold rolled grain oriented, and the flux density is going from 1.4 to 1.7 Tesla. अच्छा, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि they can't go from 1.7, they can go, but they will saturate. The BH curve will saturate. So 1.4 to 1.7 Tesla is the maximum value that you can achieve over something in that range. So if you are using a CRGO silicon steel, then you can have a very big value. Now, not in this book or in your course up till now, maybe in Pakistan, but there are some materials now which have achieved, some ceramic materials combined with the fusion with the silicon steel, they have achieved 2.4 Tesla also. And such like materials are being used in the induction motor of a Tesla car. वो मोटर खुद बना रहे हैं टेस्ला वाले, they are making it themselves. So the size of the machine, आप जितना B ज़्यादा करोगे, remember this thing, why? Because flux is equal to B dot A. अगर आप B जितना ज़्यादा करोगे, एरिया आपको कम करना पड़ेगा. एरिया कम होगा, मशीन का साइज क्यों? फ्लक्स तो आपको उतना ही चाहिए जितने आपको फ्लक्स लाइन्स चाहिए. So when you are increasing that B over here, your area reduces for the same value of flux. So जितना अच्छा मटीरियल आपके पास आएगा, तो मे बी विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम आपको हो सकता है आज से 20 साल बाद, क्योंकि नाउ इस पे काम शुरू हो चुका है, नाउ मटीरियल्स पे बहुत ज़्यादा काम हो रहा है, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स आर नाउ गोइंग टू यूज दिस मोटर्स. तो आपको हो सकता है इस माउस साइज जितनी 1 हॉर्स पावर की मोटर अगले 20 सालों में भी मिल जाए. अभी इसमें प्रैक्टिकली नहीं है. आप घरों में जो पानी की मोटर इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो या जो भी कुछ कर रहे हो, वो छोटी सी इतने बड़े साइज की होती है, लेकिन उसको हॉर्स पावर आप उठा के देखो तो वो 1 हॉर्स पावर भी नहीं होगी, आधा हॉर्स पावर होगी. लेकिन अगर उसमें मटीरियल अच्छा आप यूज कर लो, यू कंट्रोल द लॉसेस, द हीटिंग इज वेरी गुड, यू हैव फिन्स ओवर देयर, आपने वेंडिंग डिजाइन उसका अच्छा किया हो, देन यू कैन रिड्यूस द साइज. एंड इफ यू वांट टू सी द डिफरेंस ओवर देयर, आप हमारी लैब में जाओ, मशीन लैब के अंदर, वहां पे जितनी भी मशीन है, डीसी मशीन है, वो 1994 की आई हुई, उन साइज इतना है. वॉटेज देखोगे 400 वॉट. लेकिन अब आप एट दिस प्रेजेंट टाइम टेक एनी डीसी मशीन ऑफ 400 वॉट, तो इतनी ही होगी. सो मटीरियल्स आर कॉन्स्टेंटली इवॉल्विंग, हो रहे हैं पिछले 15-20 सालों में, दे हैव डन, बट द स्पीड हैज बीन वेरी स्मॉल. अब नाउ सिंस द नीड इज देयर फॉर बिग एफिशिएंट मोटर, साइज इज रिड्यूस्ड. इलेक्ट्रिक कार में सबसे बड़ा मसला वेट का है. बैटरी मोटर, इलेक्ट्रिक कार का वेट सबसे ज्यादा होता है. एक आम नॉर्मल सेडान in Pakistan is weighing from something 1200 to 1400 kilograms. I'm talking about something Corolla or Civic. They are ranging in that. लेकिन वही साइज से में इलेक्ट्रिक कार 1800, 1900, 2000 किलोग्राम से भी भारी है. So you have to reduce down the, because जितना भारी होगा you have to drag that weight along with you. So lithium ion cells, the main factor, and the motor, you have to reduce down their weight so that you can actually have better efficiency. और जितना आप मटीरियल कम यूज करोगे उतने कोर लॉसेस कम होंगे. So जितना कम मटीरियल है, it can achieve higher flux density, you can have better machine with better efficiency available to you. ठीक है. So these are 3 materials over here which I have stock: cold rolled, grain oriented, hot rolled, grain oriented, HRGO or silicon steel. Now last thing which I just want to do it, there are 3 types of cooling. There are 3 types of cooling which we are going to talk. मैंने खैर ऐसा इनके नाम भी दिए हैं. One is called as the natural cooling. Then I have forced cooling. The third one is water cooling. By force I don't mean कि water force की जा रहा है, air force की जा रही है. ठीक है. तो अभी मैं इसको डिटेल डिस्कस करता हूँ. So I have 3 things: natural cooling, forced cooling or water cooling. Now when I'm talking about natural cooling, the current density in the wire can be from 1.5 to 2.3 amperes per mm square. जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बताया थोड़ी देर पहले कि अगर आपने ये सिंपल नेचुरल कूलिंग रखनी है, nothing fancy, no air blast, no air fan, no oil, something, you can have just 1.5 to 2.3 amperes per mm square. And for this natural cooling there are some terms used. One is called as AN. AN stands for air natural cooling. Then there is ON, which means oil natural cooling. N stands for natural, A air, oil, and then there is another term called as OFN, which is called as oil forced circulated with natural air cooling. Now इसके अंदर फोर्स का लफ्ज आ गया, इसका मतलब ये है कि आपके पास जो भी ट्रांसफार्मर है उसके टैंक के अंदर एक पंप लगा दिया गया है. दैट पंप इज एक्चुअली पुशिंग द ऑयल थ्रू दोज पिन्स. अब इनमें नहीं लगा होता पंप, एयर ट्रांसफार्मर है, इनमें नहीं लगा होता. इट्स जस्ट कन्वेक्शन करंट विच इज अलाउइंग द ऑयल टू फ्लो. तो एक पंप लगा दिया गया जो ऑयल को फोर्स कर रहा है. बाकी उस ऑयल से जो हीट आपने डिसिपेट करनी है वो नेचुरल एयर से जा रही है. उसके बाहर आपने कोई फैन नहीं लगाया जो कि फिन्स के ऊपर से हीट कंडक्ट करेगा. So this is called as OFN. These all three are something in the natural cooling department. But when you are talking about forced cooling, then the value of the current density goes on from 2 to 4.0 ampere per mm square. And here the word used is AB. This is called as air blast cooling. Or this is called as OB, oil blast cooling, or OFB, same thing, just like the same attribute. This is called as oil forced circulated with air blast cooling. इन सारी टाइप्स की हम डिटेल्स थोड़ी सी जब हम टैंक डिजाइन करेंगे वी विल टॉक अबाउट दैट वन. ठीक है, अभी मैं सिर्फ जस्ट एक नाम आपके सामने रख रहा हूँ विच आर बेस्ड ऑन दैट वन. एंड व्हेन यू हैव समथिंग लाइक अ वाटर कूलिंग then there only just to the efficiency, or sorry, the current density actually comes on to be 5.0 to 6 ampere per mm square. So you can see the current density is 3 times more as compared to the first one, which was 1.5 to 2.3. And in this case you have OW and you have OFW. What is O? This is oil immersed with circulated water cooling. And for this one, this is oil forced with circulated water cooling, same thing. So for the water cooling you can see the ampere per mm square is larger, and these are the oil immersed with circulated water cooling on over there. टाइम नहीं है, अगला आर्टिकल जरा लंबा है. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गो फर्दर देन दिस. नेक्स्ट टाइम प्लीज ब्रिंग योर कैलकुलेटर्स विद यू. आई एम गोइंग टू डू सम कैलकुलेशंस. आई एम गोइंग टू गो, अभी तक मैंने बेसिक फार्मूला, अभी मैं आपको बेसिक फार्मूला, वी हैव नॉट येट प्रूव द फर्स्ट डिजाइन इक्वेशन ऑफ ट्रांसफार्मर विच इज इक्वल टू ET इक्वल टू K अंडर रूट S. K वैल्यू आप सपोज करेंगे, मैं रेंज आपको बताऊंगा. F आपके KVA रेटिंग है आपके ट्रांसफार्मर के, सिंगल फेज, 3 फेज जो भी है, और ET इज द अमाउंट ऑफ वोल्टेज पर टर्न. ठीक है, ये हमारी डिजाइन अभी हमने प्रूव करनी है. ये अभी हम प्रूव करेंगे नेक्स्ट टाइम. दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन सम फैक्टर, वो हम देखेंगे. फिर उसके बाद द कैलकुलेशन स्टार्ट्स, एंड द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर आल्सो आई विल गिव यू द फर्स्ट असाइनमेंट दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन द स्टेप 4 और द 3 स्टेप 4 और 4 स्टेप 4. ठीक है जी. सो